Hi, and it's another Monday and another episode of The Tracker. We're about to take you around the globe to check out Ghanaian players and exactly how they've been performing for their various clubs. Fentuo Tahiru is here with me as we dissect Ghanaian players abroad. Fent, it's good to have you back again on The Track.
As always, it's very good to be here.
Let's start off this time from England, and it's the return, or it was the return of Nketsia and Fentuo for Newcastle this weekend. It didn't save them from blowing another lead. And like we predicted, Newcastle were going to take the lead and we're going to show little spine and we're going to crumble. But Fentuo himself didn't look like the man who has shown consistency and has rescued Newcastle in tight situations this season. I mean, does it worry you at all that as the team struggles, he doesn't seem to have that talismanic feel that we thought he should have in his return back to the PL?
Yes, and when players return from injury, it's always difficult for them to hit the ground running immediately. Fentuo's missed as many as 5 games. He played his first game since the Bournemouth game. In that whole period that he's been out, Newcastle United have not won a single match in that period. Have they missed Fentuo? Absolutely, because before his injury, he'd played pretty much about every single minute of Newcastle's campaign. This is a tough time for Newcastle, but I'm glad that Nketsia and Fentuo is coming back into the team because we need him fit and firing when the Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers come around somewhere next year. And Newcastle themselves needing more than ever, because at the moment Newcastle's season seems to be crumbling. They're slipping down the table and it doesn't augur well for their team. They need some reinforcements in the general transfer window, but he's a coach that has the support and trust of his manager. So no matter what, Nketsia and Fentuo will always play. If he continues to work hard, now that he's back from injury, I can only see more game time for him.
Let me just pin you to this. If you were to rank Fentuo on the Newcastle player scale, where would he fall?
I think he's definitely one of those players that will fall in the top 11 because I think he's one player whose name would...
He's not good enough to be top 3 at Newcastle.
No, not good enough to be top 3. There's quite a lot of players at Newcastle United who are much more, let me say, in quotes, important than Nketsia and Fentuo. But he's definitely a fan favourite, especially when you look at what he did to get them to qualify to the from the Championship to the Premier League. But when you have Joselu, you have Jonjo Shelvey, they've got a lot of other really experienced players who have been around the club for a really long time and fighting for their cause, so much so that it's difficult to put Fentuo in the top 3.
Well, let's come down to South Africa. This time, let's talk about the men between the sticks. Now, Ghana's number 1 goalkeeper now is Richard Ofori. He plays his football with Maritzburg. Over the weekend, he was in action. He saw 90 minutes. His team won by 3-0. Now, as far as the goalkeeping department is concerned, you think that he is sure money for that particular position in the next few years? He's going to lock it down. Is that what you think? At
the moment, it doesn't look like he has any real competition. I think his real competition is Kwarase, who is very reluctant to come back to the national team. And it's good to see Ofori getting playing time because when he first moved to South Africa, he wasn't getting any more playing time. But he was still trusted to keep the post every time he came to the Black Star. So it's good to see him getting 90 minutes in the South African League. It's a league that a lot of Ghanaian players have often struggled. One of our goalkeepers, Fatah, went there with Orlando Pirates. He didn't have any luck, didn't play much. Eventually he ended up leaving. Now we have 2 Ghanaian goalkeepers there. One of them, Razak Brahma, is not doing so well with Mamelodi Sundowns. Yes, but it's really impressive to see that Richard Ofori is finally getting game time because we need him. Goalkeeping, if you don't play, you get rusty.
Well, let's talk about Brahma. He plays his football for Mamelodi Sundowns. Supposed to be just about the biggest team in South Africa these days. He was not even on the match day squad when his team were in action over the weekend. Now, is this evidence of the true quality of Razak Brahma, or you think that he's being slighted and possibly needs to feature more?
Not necessarily. I think Mamelodi Sundowns have got some really good goalkeepers in their folds.
Real competition.
Exactly. So if he's going to Dennis Onyongo being Africa's goalkeeper of the year,
It's always going to be hard.
Exactly. If Brima is going to get playing time, he has to prove himself much better than Denis Onyango. Unfortunately, Brima in the last few years hasn't shown himself to be that consistent or that good at a top level. Don't forget, this is a player that is only playing at the top league, top division of any country for the first time. When he was in Spain, he was never playing in La Liga. He was playing in the Segunda division. Now he's getting the chance to play in the top division in South Africa, and is finding competition really difficult.
Interesting thoughts. We hope that Razak Brima will definitely be in the plans of the coach and could get his hands just a little sticky, a little busy.
Because at the moment, the situation is over him.
It's not good at all. The last thing we want is another rant like what we saw at the last major competition. But let's talk now about Portugal's Portimonense's Lumo Agbenye. He has managed to break into the Black Stars in recent times. I've watched him a few times. This is what I honestly think. I don't think he's exceptional. But from where you stand, how has he been able to keep the Black Stars left back spot on lock for the past couple of games?
I think consistency and game time, because these are key. And he's one player that has played a lot of football in Europe this season and last season as well. That's how he got the attention of the national team handlers.
In action for
exactly. So, and that sort of game time only adds to the confidence of the player. Even if you're an average player, you're getting to play week in, week out, you're learning, you're doing so much better. And that's how he's been able to get himself into the national team. And he looks like he's going to keep that position because he's also playing for his club side week in, week out. I watched him last season. He had a very good game. Last week, he had a very good game. This week, he had another good game. The week before that, the same thing. And so, if he doesn't get injured, he looks like he could have that left back position locked down for a while, because when I look around for our options, we don't seem to have many.
Well, let's round up the discussion with another very interesting player who has been doing quite well. Ebenezer Ofori, he's been doing well for the Black Stars of Ghana, but over the weekend, he was on the bench the entire 90 minutes when Stuttgart were in action. I mean, for one of those guys who everybody seems to think is possibly the future of the Black Stars central midfield alongside Thomas Partey, this doesn't bode too well for him.
Not at all. And I feel really sad for him, because before he's moved to Stuttgart, and Stuttgart were playing in the Bundesliga 2 then, he was having an incredible season. And he moves to Stuttgart. He does well in the Bundesliga 2, and then they get promoted and he's not getting any playing time. This season, he's only played 8 minutes of Bundesliga football.
And it's ironic because this is the time when he's actually featuring prominently for his nation.
Exactly. And you would have thought that that would come with some increased prominence in his club side. Unfortunately, that hasn't happened. Maybe it's time for him to seek opportunity elsewhere in the general transfer window, because the whole of the first round, he's only had 8 minutes of football. That's not good for a player that wants to reach the very top. And I've already heard rumors of a possible move away from Stuttgart. And if he can get another Bundesliga team to go on loan for a few months and prove to his coach that he's more than capable, that would do a lot of good for his career.
Well, from lost players to guys who are warming their bench, it's interesting. The tracker will find you wherever you are. Like I said, Fentuo Tahiru, thank you very much for helping us do the breakdown. But who knows? Next time, like I said, we could possibly be getting players from Ukraine, guys from Thailand, Vietnam. It's the tracker. We will find you wherever you are. My name is Benjamin Nketsia. It's been a good show, and hopefully we'll be back next week again.